Hey, this is Connie Jones with the Warrior Arise podcast, where we empower men and women to live in the freedom and fullness of their God-given identity, purpose, and potential. Each episode is filled with transformational insight, counseling and coaching wisdom, practical tools, personal growth and wellness expertise, and biblical truth designed to bring healing, clarity, and courage. Whether through the solo episodes or powerful interviews with purpose-driven leaders, you'll be equipped to unleash your powerful warrior within so that you can live and lead bravely, freely, and authentically in your life, work, and calling. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, back to the Warrior Arise podcast. And today we have one of our incredible therapists and life coaches with us. She is the specialist in getting breakthrough in people's lives. And I'll let her tell you more about that. She is one of my dearest friends, and I just have the ultimate trust, and just she's incredibly just a wise woman, and I call her a little powerhouse. So Andra Prowant is on our Arise team, and I just can't wait for you to get to know her. So welcome, Andra, to the podcast.
Well, thank you. This is exciting. I am just obviously thrilled that we get to do this together. Thanks for inviting me to help me, and just you're always helping me. You're always like me. I love that about you and our friendship. You're so sweet. You pulled out the best in me.
Well, there's a lot of good in there. There's
incredible. Almost 9 years.
That is
at Arise.
Unbelievable. I know. And you've just been a treasure. It's been a great 9 years, and we've still got a long way to go. So we still got a lot of work, a lot of good work to do in the world, and it's fun to do it with you. So thank you for that. Thank you for your heart and all of the how you work at your own growth, because I don't think people recognize that, or we don't talk about it a whole lot, just how much work it is for us to constantly be working on ourselves and to be diving in spiritually and mentally and emotionally, and holding ourselves accountable and going to the next level to and challenging ourselves and each other to be able to do what we do in a way that really helps people, and that is in alignment with our calling. And so it's fun to watch you. It's fun to do that with you. It's fun to be a part of that with you. So I just appreciate your willingness to do that. And I know that you'll share some of that with us today. So well, let's dive in. How did you what made you want to be a counselor and a coach and shepherds people's hearts the way that you do?
Well, long story short, I didn't plan on it.
We never do.
It just really did happen organically. I mean, I was in sales for the majority of my adult career and loved that work, and which I think actually prepared me for this work as well. I don't think anything's ever wasted. But when the market crashed in 2008 and I was a top producer for our sales company, I had seniority. There was no sign of me getting laid off. I got laid off, and I knew like deep down that God wanted me somewhere else. I just didn't have the capacity or the courage to do it. So I felt like this was like God going, well, if you're not going to do it, I am. And so that is, kind of where my true growth really started, because I was like, what now? I felt like the Lord just said, hey, it's time for you to start living from your identity and not for your identity, because I had that performance-driven mindset. It was super stressful in sales, a lot of pressure. And even though I was a top producer, I never felt like I was doing enough.
Yeah.
And so God helped me realize how to really live from a place of rest, and that we can produce a lot more from that place of rest. And I was to start my spiritual journey too. So
Yeah.
But fast forward, I decided to go to the school of ministry. And through that, I started learning how to minister to people's heart, how to do inner healing, really some of the soul work, right? The mind, will, emotion
Yes.
work. And through that, I met my coach trainer through Bonnie Wozniak. So she
Yeah.
actually ran Pathway Home for Women, which was just rang like really loud in my heart. It was a recovery home for women. So I got connected there and started coaching. I was doing coach training with her, got my master certified life coaching certification, was also
Yeah.
coaching the women at the house coming out of in recovery and coming out of some of the worst case scenarios you could imagine. Them
Mm.
showing up saying, if you can't help me, I'm going to die. Um,
Yeah.
and so I learned a lot through that, just ministering again to their heart, learning how to help them, heal really
Yeah.
and get that breakthrough that they so desperately, the ones that really wanted it, help
Yes.
them get that. And, it was just an amazing thing for me to watch their transformation. And as I was learning to coach, we were also being coached. And that was one of the most life transforming times for me because I realized how the story of my life had a lot of trauma because my first love of my life was killed in a car wreck, drinking and driving. I had a lot of loved ones, family and friends who had struggled with drugs and alcohol. And I will say, I partied, I did my fair share, but I never was really, really addicted
Yeah.
in that sense. But I had a heart for those people because of my loved ones and my trauma
Yeah.
experience. So
Right.
that really drew me to that. So I started out, getting my license for addiction counseling and doing primarily that work. And I started out with my own coaching company on the side. And a
Yeah.
long story short, again, I didn't want to do that on my own. It was hard. It's hard to have to
Yeah.
run a business. I just wanted to coach and counsel people. I wanted people to experience the breakthrough that I was seeing in my own life and that these girls were getting. I'm like, gosh, if they can get it and I can get it, anybody can. And we're all broken
Right.
in some way. And so I just wanted to
Yeah.
help people in that capacity. And so I really, that passion was just driven. And I was like, I don't want to, Lord, my business wasn't thriving. And it was just like, I hated the administrative part. And I was
Yeah.
just like, well, if you want me to do this, then you're going to have to open a door, right? You're going to have to find a
Yeah.
way, just make a way. And within 3 days, I met you. And it's
That's
like,
crazy.
yeah, I had already
Like
been
yesterday.
I know. It was just like a match. It was just like God just opened that door and we both, it just clicked for us. And,
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, I'd already been doing a lot of training in emotional intelligence. I've gotten certified in that. And along over those 9 years, I've just gotten more and more certifications, more and more, went through lots of programs to really get a hold of the tools that would be really helpful for people and along the way heal myself. So,
Yes.
and let God heal me too. That you don't heal yourself, but you participate, right? So just
Yes.
there
Absolutely.
layers coming off, layers and layers of healing for me over the years. And it's just so incredible how I was like, if I need this, right? And it's scary. It's
Yeah.
really scary to face those things. But what I've found is that you can't give what you don't have.
That's
So
right.
I needed to have this healing so I could actually help others heal. And when you get that, when you actually face your stuff, your baggage, if whatever you want to call it, your trauma, your
Your
pain,
experiences, some of it is like just things that have happened to you that it's your hand, the cards you were dealt, the
yeah.
things that you had that, you know, that you had to deal with that you didn't ask for.
Yeah, but when you do deal with those things, because we all have ways of coping with it, ignoring it, just avoiding
Yeah.
it, pushing it away. Our body's not even created to push it away. It's created to
Right.
process it and to allow it to complete and heal. And
Yeah.
so it loses its power then. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, things in my life that have had me sort of in bondage, these like strongholds, things and patterns and things, they've lost their power. And I just want other people to experience that.
Absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. While we're on that, you had said a few minutes ago you got some other certifications, other trainings along the way. You've really like you have this beautiful repertoire of all these skills that you can do. Will you just share just a couple of those? And what I mean is like your inner healing training, your the emotional intelligence that you've already mentioned, the parenting, your family work that you did, and then your even the autonomic the nervous system stuff, the like, and then your other certification where you know how to help people holistically with their health, and go through
Yeah.
just a few of those things and how you kind of see all of that come together to help people, and that you how you use those, just kind of how what you've learned and how you use those things to help people get free.
Yeah. I mean, I always see it as like spirit, soul, body. So you have
Yeah.
to have all those elements. And that is really what's kind of driven me to pursue helping people in all of those areas. And just also with my own journey in spirit, soul, and body, and knowing, there's things we can't really separate those things. Um,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I just, as far as the spirit, the inner healing goes, that really is developing our spirit and not letting our mind, will, and emotions take over, but going deep and that authentic connection with God, with ourselves, and with others, and realizing that there are some things that hold us captive and some mindset, some beliefs. Things are driven from deep within us. And those
Yeah.
beliefs that create their lives that we believe, and we act out of those. So with inner healing,
Yeah.
it's really meant for those people who want to connect with God, who want
Mm.
to deepen their identity in Christ. And for people that don't really have that desire right now, I mean, I just work with all kinds of people. I meet people where they are. So there's
Mhm.
no force. It's always just a flow of how
Yeah.
to what they need in their life right now, what they really desire and the goals they have. But even if it's not connecting them with God, which I'm hopeful that it is, I always believe that we're planting seeds.
Yeah.
We can plant seeds. We're
Yeah.
all spirit beings. Um, and we have a soul and we live in a body. So it's helping people really connect with that when we talk about inner healing. But the emotional intelligence part is just as important, because that's our self awareness, our self management, our self direction, how we're showing up um, with ourselves and with others in relationships. And that the
Yeah.
EQ, we call it EQ for short, that determines about 80% of someone's success in life. Right? It's
Yeah.
your well-being, your overall health, your quality of your relationships, your effectiveness, your emotional intelligence skills. And some we're born with some, but we also have gaps where we need to grow in other areas.
Right.
And so you know, like we might have skills in one area, self-awareness, but we don't know how to change something or the pattern. We might know the pattern, but know how to change the pattern. So those are the
Yeah.
things that I help people develop these skills. And the good thing is they're learnable skills. So we want to use, and it's not being emotional, it's using emotional data to make good
Yeah.
decisions. That's what emotional intelligence really is. We want to be able to make the best decisions, not make emotional decisions. But there's always emotion in a decision, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. But
Sure.
it's that energy in motion, or emotion, that we
Yes.
want to grab a hold of that and make it productive instead of destructive.
Ooh, that's good.
So it's that tool. And then, just like the communication, I have a heart for family systems and for, how we as individuals show up in that family and we show up in that relationship. And, my heart for parents is just because of, my own journey with my kids and just seeing, you know, that, I have a blended family. And so I understand the dynamics of all of that. And just,
Yeah.
I wish I'd had the tools to raise my children according to their gifts,
Hmm.
according to how they're wired.
Hmm.
And I didn't have that. And so on the back end, now my kids are adults and still being able to speak into their lives, which I'm thankful they're open to that.
Yeah.
Um, just kind of launching them and not being there's a difference between punishment and discipline. So
Yeah.
helping parents really learn how to do that well, and not be reactive. I was very reactive and not
Yeah.
reaction. Reactive is like that fear cycle, right? It's the
Yeah. I
fear.
was gonna say you talk about the fear cycle a lot, and whether we're parenting or whether we're in our relationships, a lot of times, I mean, every time that reactivity is we're trying to love someone from fear. But
Yes.
and so we get fear confused with love, and we react out of fear, and then we don't realize why we're not effective. Well, we don't realize why we're not so effective, you know. But
Yeah.
so keep going. Talk about that fear cycle. I love that you were headed that direction. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, the fear is the fear cycle. We all have one. We don't get to escape that. And it's just how, when we have that emotion, that feeling, we have a reaction to it. And then that usually triggers other people's feelings and their reactions. And we get on this cycle going round and round. We're not able to connect. The goal becomes disconnection because we're in
yeah,
fight or flight. It's like now
yeah,
they're the
well,
scary bear. And
yeah,
or I'm the scary bear. And
yeah,
so just end up causing this disconnection, and we can't ever solve problems when
yeah,
we're disconnected.
yeah,
So it's a reaction cycle that is thoughtless action. It's all the patterns that we've learned from childhood. And we
yeah.
go into that protection versus connection.
Yeah.
And we want
We've
to
learned
learn.
to survive that way, and we
Yes,
survive and succeed to a certain level, but it's not allowing us to really thrive in our relationships at this point. And so we've got
yeah,
to learn something new. It's not that we're doing it wrong, it's that it's not
right.
working for us anymore. We've got to learn something new.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah.
That too is like, well, sometimes I might be on the love cycle, but sometimes if something triggers me, I'm going to be on my fear cycle, and I need to learn how to respond through that, which
Yeah.
is thoughtful action rather than reaction, which is thoughtless action. So
Yeah.
really learning and sharing with people we have to identify our fear cycle. And that has a
Yes.
lot to do with our communication and our conflict resolution and how we
Mhm.
show up again. Am I going into protection mode, defensive mode, offensive mode? Am I going into that, or am I going into connection,
Yeah.
which allows me to create, when we have a conflict, a lot of people want to avoid that. They want to avoid conflict. They want to shut down, and not realizing that conflict is actually created to help us have a stronger connection and a stronger bond when we feel like we've actually overcome this disagreement or whatever it is going on together,
Yes.
which is a
That's
beautiful thing.
beautiful. I love it
It's,
too.
that is kind of I've done a lot of the conflict resolution, communication training, um, as well, and certifications in that. And then just most recently, the automatic nervous system training, because we can't really talk our nervous system out of reacting. We
That's
have
right.
to be with our nervous system, and from there also learn the thoughts and the patterns that go along with it.
Yeah.
But it's a completely different, it's described more as, we do a lot of top down work in therapy.
Yeah.
This is more bottom up.
Bottom
So
up.
we're starting with the body. We're starting with being present. We're starting with, scanning our bodies, realizing what's there, what is our bodies communicating to us, and then going up to the mind. So it's a beautiful way to kind of have this combination of both and from both directions that
Yeah.
can create wholeness. And that's the whole idea, is that I want to become more and more, create a wholeness in my life,
Mm,
in my body, in my mind, will, and emotions, and in my spirit,
yeah. Wow. Because
in a
when we're,
maturing process.
yeah, I was going to say, because when we are whole, then we are the most complete, most effective, happiest, healthiest versions of ourselves.
Yeah. And it's not like we're not going to be perfect. I always tell
No.
people, it says, like, when we're talking about in biblically, I always wondered, it said, be perfect as I am perfect. And I thought, can you be perfect? How can you possibly be perfect? But that word is mature. It actually,
Mm,
I study a lot from the Hebrew perspective. So that's the other thing that really sets me apart. Like, it's something
yeah.
that's a little different.
Yeah.
um, I have that sort of different approach of how would the Hebrew people, which they think from right to left brain, not left to right.
Yeah.
So how would they think about scripture, what the word says differently and deeper? Which is, I love the Hebrew aspect of things, because that actually does come into our spirit, soul, and body, and how
Yeah.
we respond.
Yeah. And then we can have a connection with our heart in the scripture, and we can feel the connection with God,
Yeah.
and let his power work in us and through us, rather than just trying to figure it out in our head, because that's
Well,
so
we need to
limiting.
feel the truth, because what we feel, we own.
That's
So whether you're
right.
trying to get from a spiritual place, or, we need to feel our faith, or we were talking about, I need to feel the truth of who I am. I need to feel the truth of whatever it is, I
Yeah.
need to feel the truth of significance, for example. I need to feel the truth of security. I need
Yeah.
to feel those deep desires that we all have. I need to feel that and not just know it in my head. And what I
Yeah.
missed just a second ago was the word mature. The word perfect actually means mature. I don't think I said that. I got off
You
track.
did. You
but
did, but that's okay. We need to hear
but
it. We need to hear it again and again and again, because it needs to shift in our minds. Yeah.
it, it is just a maturing of our soul in that
Yeah.
process.
Mm.
Spirit.
Wow. And then when we are mature in our soul, we can feel empowered. We can feel confident in who we are. We can respond rather than react. We can channel our emotions. We can make decisions in our lives that move us closer to who we were called to be and what we really want, rather than just feeling like we're, as you call it, stuck, stagnant, and what?
Stale.
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 Yeah. So let's move into that, because you stuck, stagnant, and stale are the people that you work with. Anybody who feels stuck, stagnant, or stale in any way in their life, or their relationships, or their work. And so tell us who that is. Is that like, how old do you see people? Do you see, couples? Do you see individuals? Like, tell us a little bit about who you work with, and um and how you work with them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of changed over the years, obviously,
Oh
it's
yeah.
just, started out seeing individuals, because that's, identifying, a lot of people too with anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD. Those people, because because of the work that I've done, I've also done it's called interpersonal neurobiology. I know it's a big word, but I've done training in that. And that's also has to do with the nervous system and how we interact, sort of the nonverbals that we kind of give off to other people, and how we respond to ourselves. um it's the neurobiology part of it that we want to kind of look at. But anyways, that, anyone that has those kind of things going on in their life, they're not stuck with those because the brain is neuroplastic. The brain can change. It's like putty. It's like, so we want to create different neuro pathways and ways of thinking. And so I found that my kind of sweet spot
Mhm.
is teens. I love working with teens, 15, 16 and up,
Mhm.
young adults and adults. I mean, I've worked with everyone I've had some younger, but, say 15, 16 up to 75.
Yeah.
So I've had, people who are stuck in a pattern, unhealthy pattern, toxic patterns, traumatic patterns, stuck in their unhealthy story. They're,
Yes.
people with unhealthy relationships or just want a better quality relationship with themselves, with others. So individuals, and it's kind of just started out with individuals, but it's kind of morphed now into working with couples. And because of some of the training that I've done, I'm able to help them individually and together as a couple. And so I really
Yeah.
do love I love doing couples work. I've had a
Yeah.
good, you know, some couple years of experience with that now, and a lot of people have gotten breakthroughs, so I'm very thankful for
That's
that.
true.
Thankful for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's anywhere from teens to people that are older.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how would someone know if, other than teen to older or couples, how would someone know if they were your client? How, like a good match for you? What are you mentioned some things. They may have anxiety, depression, they may have some OCD, some ADHD, so mental health kinds of challenges. They you've also mentioned the relationship stuff.
Yes.
Mentioned stuck, stagnant, stale, patterns of behavior where they just kind of feel stuck and can't move. Um, you had mentioned early on that your work with addiction. Do you still do some addiction work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I still do substance abuse and addiction for people who are um high functioning mainly,
Yeah.
people that are high
Yep.
functioning or people that are just starting out in recovery.
Yeah.
Um or people who it's those patterns again.
Yeah.
I really love working with clients who have tried everything,
Uh,
who feel like they have tried it all
yeah.
and they're still stuck. They're
Yeah.
still stagnant. They're still stale. They cannot break through. Those are the clients who can find me. The ones that just have tried it, feel like they've tried it all and nothing has worked. And
Yeah.
that also brings me to the other piece I really didn't talk too much about, and I'll briefly
Yep.
share, is the holistic part of working with someone with, supplementation now and being able to help them. You know, I'm obviously am not a psychiatrist. I don't ever tell anyone to get off their medication.
Yeah.
What I simply do is I work with a couple other functional integrative practitioners and also from my own training, and we come up with a plan that helps supplement what their body needs to bring it back to homeostasis or bring it back to harmony. And
Mm,
so it can be the supplementation, the changes in how their diet, their behaviors, doing some other practices that
yeah.
really will help them overcome, from a physical standpoint. And then they can work with their own prescriber or practitioner to get, with their medication, if whatever they want to do, continue on or reduce dosage or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm just there to kind of help support them
Or
in the
never have to get on it
or to
if
have
they're
to.
not there yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not all it. So people who don't like medication, who are struggling with
Yeah.
anxiety, depression, even addiction, we have a treatment plan for people who want to, come out of addiction or substance abuse or who are in recovery to help create wholeness again in their body.
Yeah.
We have a program for that, a supplementation package and program that will help them do that. We're now doing, I love doing the neurotransmitter testing. So that
Mhm.
there's another sweet spot that I really, really find helpful, because then we have raw data about what's going on with their dopamine, their serotonin, their norepinephrine and epinephrine and their cortisol and all the things that work together. Because now their science has proven that the gut is our second brain, right? And the gut
Yeah.
is where most of our neurotransmitters are made. So if we have, even mental health problems, it could be a gut problem. It could be
Mhm.
something in our neurotransmitters that's causing the depression or anxiety or even ADHD and OCD. Those things
Yeah.
can be sometimes identified in neurotransmitter testing about what's going on
Yes.
and how to we then supplementing to tweak that and to correct that. So yeah, those are
It's
kind of
really amazing.
it is. It's again, it's spirit, soul, body. It's the whole work um, to help
Yeah.
people access wholeness in their life
Yeah.
and health and healing.
And then so people can truly get breakthrough. They can get freedom. Let me ask this. What if someone I'm just, you have such a holistic, you've got so many tools in your toolbox. You pull from those as you need, intuitively as you need. Um, and use all of that to see the person as a whole person and really kind of go at what areas need to be addressed, where they're stuck, where, what's not working for them. But if someone's hearing all of this and they're going, oh yes, I want that, but oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. Like what can someone expect by coming in? You said I meet people where they are. What if someone is just like, oh my God, I don't even know what I need? Um, and they're just like, I just want change. I just want help. Where do you start with them? What do they do? What do
Well,
they need to do?
yeah, I mean, I really start with people and kind of helping them see the stress pattern, because if someone needs change or if something's going on, it usually is rooted in a stress or the fear response.
Yeah.
So help them kind of see how stress plays a big role and what are those stress points. We're going to evaluate that. We're going to look at
Yeah.
that. We're going to look at that. We're going to evaluate the quality of their relationships. We're
Yeah.
going to talk through where are some places where you've been hurt,
Mhm.
or we need to get eventually to the root that creates the fruit. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for when I'm talking through people with is let's just explore. We're just in a discovery phase. Um, what could improve? What if you could improve anything, what would that be? You
Yeah.
know, and we're going to I'll look at some things like around their emotional intelligence. Some people are very aware, but they don't know how to change. Some people are unaware, no judgment. We just get curious. There's no
Yeah.
judgment in any of it. It's just a curiosity of like, well, if you're unaware, but yet they might know exactly how to change something if they were more aware.
Mhm.
So we're just exploring and starting with really the stress. We have like a formula. It's like, because if we're stressing, we're
Yeah.
creating their symptoms and bringing awareness to some of those symptoms. And
Yeah.
we know that that's the fight or flight. Well, we end up shutting down, I call them heart walls. We'll build heart walls to protect ourselves. And that prevents us from receiving or giving love. So we're
Yeah.
kind of looking from where are those places where we struggle to give or receive love.
Mm,
self love, even self, around not in a prideful way, but self respect. And how do I really feel about myself
yeah.
in that sense?
Mm,
So, yeah, we kind of start with just a kind of just discussing, what like kind of where they are, what are some things that they would like to improve in their life or they could see a
yeah.
need for. What is it
Yeah.
that they do need?
Yeah. You're right. Everything in our lives is really a reflection of our relationship with ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of our, who we have learned we are and how we relate to ourselves. And it's just amazing. And we
Yeah.
can change that. We can
Yeah.
drastically change that.
And also, helping people. I have a tool that I use every time with people because it's always different, but it's the desires. Like what do I deeply desire? And when people like have take inventory of what it is they desire, they're like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't never really acknowledge that I needed that or I desired that. And so
Yeah.
that can help us and launch us into, more discovery and help
Yeah.
them feel the truth of getting that desire met.
Hmm. That's amazing. Wow. So if there's a person out there, let's just kind of play devil's advocate for a minute. If there's a person out there that's going, yeah, I mean, this sounds great, but I've tried it before. I've tried therapy before. I keep talking about the same things over and over. I didn't really get any change. And you've already said you love people who've tried everything, but hadn't gotten results. What is so different about, and you've explained a lot of it, but like, let's just get to the crux of like, what if they're still going, yeah, I don't, what's going to be different this time? I'm going to another therapist. I mean, like, what, can't be that different.
Hmm.
Um, how is it different
Yeah.
for you with you?
I always say this is kind of where I start. I do a blend of coaching and counseling.
Yeah.
And that really makes a big difference in the approach.
Yeah.
It's not just talk therapy.
Right.
We're looking for, and I'm big on giving tools because I'm always trying to work myself out of a job. That's what I always tell
I love
people.
that you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell every time I'm like, I'm trying to work it out. So I really truly want this to work for them. So I make sure that the tools they're able to use the tools. It's application in between the sessions
Yeah.
and accountability in that. And if it's not working, then why is it not working? And what do we need to do different to help it, to support that process of change?
Yeah.
Um, so it's not just talk therapy. It's not just cognitive behavioral therapy. It's not just some of the therapeutic tools that are
Yeah.
often used so much in counseling. It's
Yeah.
also the coaching part of
And speak to
coaching.
that for just a minute. I mean, I'm huge in that. I love that you combine the two. What speak to that for a minute about what is the difference? How do you
Well,
see?
yeah. So, I mean, coaching people through transformation and change, it's more of like a here's where we're going with this. Here's the outcome you want to see,
Right.
right? It's a belief in that transformation is possible.
Yes.
And a lot of times in therapy, I think we could get stuck in this is the way it is. You're just going to have to process this and and just accept it in
Yeah.
a sense of
Yeah.
you are going to be stuck with
We're
this.
going to teach you how to cope with this rather than really
Right.
get really break free from it.
We're going to give you tools to cope instead of tools to actually rewire, reframe. It's like a renewing
Repattern.
repattern everything in that
Yeah.
sense in their goals. Um, and I will say, like I've been doing this now with at Arise for 9 years. So I have a lot of confidence that this
Yes.
actually works because it's worked for so many people. Now, I will say, and I will tell people like, hey, if you're not ready for this, or you're not applying, it's only going to work if you apply it, right?
Right.
But I'm 100% sure that this works.
Yeah.
If you will apply the tools, if
Yeah.
you will do the process with me, it will absolutely work.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
and I'm so confident of that because I've been doing it for so long. I've seen so many results
I've
that people.
seen it too. It's been incredible to watch.
So I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, like it's not 100% for everyone if they're not ready. I
Right.
mean, I just like I said, I'll still, some clients aren't ready. Well, just stay where they want, but I'm going to push a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to and challenge them in certain ways. That's
Yeah.
a good thing. And I will tell them, I need to challenge you here. Like,
Yeah.
are you okay with me challenging you a little bit? It's kind of like my trainer at the gym. It's like, I just started with a trainer. It's like, I want him to challenge me. I want that because I'm like in my late 50s now and I'm losing muscle and I'm
Yeah.
like, can't keep it. So we have to have a coach to challenge us. I went in saying,
Yes.
oh, I don't need someone to sit with me or coach me through this. I'm so self-motivated. I can do it on my own. But then when
Yes.
I found out the energy that is brought through having a coach and
Yes.
through an outside perspective, and that's what it really is, someone that has an outside perspective that is for you and helping you meet those goals, it makes a world of difference. It's energy combined now. So it's more momentum.
Yeah.
And that's what coaching is. It
Yeah.
gives you more momentum to get the breakthrough that you actually want and desire. And then
Oh,
if you're stuck,
love it.
you're gonna we're gonna figure out why. Why are you stuck? What is it
Yeah.
that needs to happen here to get that part unstuck? I mean, forget the other goal. We're gonna go back to where now
Yeah.
where are we in this? So
Yeah.
it's kind of layered,
Yeah.
in that way. But that can work for individuals with mental health. It can work for individuals that, in relationships
Yeah.
of why, it's like kind of examining and like looking at why isn't something working?
Yeah.
And we create it in a way that it works.
Mm. It is incredible. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch your clients hear the stories of success and to see them refer their loved ones because, oh, you've got to go see Andra because, she's great. She's helped me so much. It's just really incredible to watch that. And it's fun when it works, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we pride ourselves in doing here at Arise is that we are transformational in nature. That is what we do is get results. We don't want to just manage symptoms or diagnoses. We don't believe that you're stuck. We believe that there is freedom and fullness available truly so that you can thrive in the best version of you. So how do people, well, first of all, let me just say this. You've done such a beautiful job explaining how you
Oh,
see things, what you actually do with people. And that's not, and let me just say this to our listeners that it's not for them to have to figure out on their own. That's your job. That's what you use. You use all your toolbox, your whole toolbox and your ability to see things to know what to go at. And that's what makes you the confident expert that you are. And that's what makes you good at what you do. So they just have to show up and be willing to walk through the process and do the things that you give them to do and work the process. But for those people who are out there and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I want to see her." Like, how does that happen? How do you what do they need to do if someone's just interested in like finding out if they're a good fit for you?
so you can always go on our website, right? arisecounselingandcoaching.com, or you can email me at Andra P. It's ANDRA P for Prowant at arisecounselingandcoaching.com. And I do
Mm.
offer a consult, I'll do like a 15-minute just like phone consultation with people just to kind of go through some things and
Yeah.
make sure it's a good fit and, like kind of hear what they and listen to what they need and kind of help them, share a little bit about how I can help and
Yeah.
just, making sure it's a good fit and everything. So I'm happy to do that with people before they schedule. And then I'll just send them my scheduling link and they can get on
Mm,
there and we get the ball rolling. So um
cool.
it is a
So
real
yeah.
pleasure to do this work. And I,
Mm,
always just am amazed and trying to stay so humble about like that I get to do this,
yes.
you know?
Yeah. It
So
is pretty. I know it's like I always say, in those moments where you see your clients get that real breakthrough and you see their lives change the way that we do. It's like, it takes me back to the days where, you win the championship. It's like one of those moments where, I mean, it's like the most, like I can feel it right now inside of me. Everything in you just like comes alive and gets so excited. I mean, it's what we live for. It's what wakes me up every day to know that, that we are not created to stay in the struggle and the striving and the surviving, that we can truly thrive, even though that's a word that's thrown around a lot. I mean, we live that here. We believe that here. And we are living at a lower level version of ourselves and a lower level version of our lives if we stay anywhere else, if we, settle for anything else. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be struggle. I mean, yeah, we live in a broken world. There's going to be struggle. But we don't have to stay there and feel defeated in it and disappointed and in our discouraged place. We can truly live in victory. And that's what you are all about.
yeah, I
And
think we all go through challenges. We're human. We're all going to go through conflict and we're all going
yeah,
to hardships and hard times. And, really preparing. That's why I'm such a big, you know, advocate for personal growth. So even if
yeah,
there's not something really going on at the moment, it's like, how are we preparing
yeah,
ourselves and growing so that if or when something does happen,
yeah.
we are prepared more so than we would be if we're not. I just love the idea of personal growth. So
Mm,
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, thank you.
our obstacles are our opportunities, right?
Opportunities.
For growth.
Yes. And
Yeah.
they definitely are if
Yeah.
we see them that way. And if we have good support and good guidance in understanding how to move our opportunity or shift our opportunities into our obstacles into opportunities. And that's what we're here for, to help people through.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart today and sharing all of the wisdom that you have. And I just love hearing it. It just like energizes me even more. I mean, I see you every day. I know what you do. I see the results. I see your clients and how they come in and go out. And it's just awesome. I get to be a part of your journey, but like to hear it just the way that you've said it today it's just life giving for me. So I hope it is you guys for all of you who are listening. And I hope that if this episode has inspired you or just awakened something in you, that you'll reach out to Andra and that you, or to us in general, and I'll get you to her if you need to, if you, need the connection, we'll make sure that we get you to her. And if you know of someone who needs to hear this message, please share it. And, because we don't want to leave people in the struggle and the discouragement and the defeat. We want we can live in victory. So thanks, Andra, for being with us today.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening.
Absolutely. And thanks you guys for joining us again. And we will see you right back here at the next episode of the podcast. Thanks. I'm so glad you tuned in to this episode of the Warrior Arise podcast. I look forward to continuing our journey together as we live in freedom and fullness as the powerful warriors that we are. Please subscribe to be notified of new episodes. And if you gleaned wisdom and inspiration today, please share it with a friend or loved one. Also, write a review on iTunes. And I'll see you on the next episode.